I know, but Red Wings, Canadians, and look, I want to get a little more granular, I guess you could say, about the discussion. And I was happy for the Wings, obviously, first and foremost, because the dream stays alive. They win an entire season. No matter what happens, this season came down to the very last minute of the very last game. No matter what happens, it did. But D-Mac, the point I want to make is, and you've heard me make this claim before. You remember when we talked about the Lions on Thanksgiving when they lost to Green Bay and just the nonsensical, irrational anger about the Lions losing?
Vitriol.
Just this hate that was being
vitriol. Everything that was built is like, knock it down.
Yeah, and you know why? My theory was because Lions fans felt they were owed that one.
Yeah.
Because they could lock in, there was nowhere to be. This was their moment. National TV, Thanksgiving, all the family. This was going to be their payoff, their moment. And it didn't work out, and they were pissed. I think last night was good for the Red Wings because you'll hear it, I think, if they win or if they lose tonight. Somehow, if they don't make the playoffs, you'll hear it. But I don't think you'll hear it near as much as as you heard it with the Lions or anything like that, or as much as you heard it lately. People will be upset, but nowhere near as upset because of what happened last night. Red Wings fans got their payoff last night. They got their moment. The chips were down. They came back. It was the greatest atmosphere, the greatest hockey atmosphere in the history of Little Caesars Arena last night. And you guys all got your Instagram reels, and you got it all last night. And I think, D-Mac, that's what they wanted. They got their payoff. There'll be some people upset, but I don't think it'll be near what it will be if the Red Wings don't make the playoffs.
So we're just talking about the noise. We're not talking about the fan, the real fan, or the
no,
people
certainly not.
We're just talking about the noise out there, right? The
Correct.
The noise is going to be what it is, right? So the best case scenario is the Wings win tonight, and if Washington wins, well, you did everything you did, and then it's not good. The one thing, here's the one thing for the fans and for the ones that are on the hashtag or I've been listening, why is it playing 1919 of the process? Right, is the question, and I think that, and the smart fans like, and Dan in the logger, met Dan who's out in the logger truck right now, clearing trees, listening to Big D Energy.
Nice.
Shout out, bro. Is like I said, is the fact is that their questions are now, they're forming their questions from frustration, right, to now sensibility about who's going to be here, who's a part of the future, right? More questions that I see being put on the coach, right? And some of the decisions he's made instead of the personnel that the GM's put in place. That's all I'm just trying to get you. It's levels, right? Like if you're, what did I text in our group text last night? Right? Something to flannel. Spenny, can you pull it up? Will you read it? Because if you guys don't understand that we're not even, right? We're not even, like and I've used the analogy of being out in the ocean and stuff like this about getting to land.
Yeah.
But there's still so many more different, bigger disappointments. What did I?
So much more heartache in games like this. I use weed, Sam. That works for sleep.
That's
it, right? How is he going to sleep?
Oh, yeah, but you need. I told Sam to use weed to sleep. He said he can't sleep. He's so stoked. But there's levels to this, right? We're not even talking about. This wasn't even a playoff victory. This was a regular season.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, yes, get excited and enjoy it, but I want you to bounce back into the reality of where this team is, and then it might be a little bit easier to understand of the steps it's taken. Now, in saying that, this, like, all these questions about what should have, could have, been or whatever are for after the season, and hopefully that's not for a few weeks. But until then, like you said, this team shows you and why people are getting these tickets, why the buildings are being full, is because they're building and they've got something. And last night was something of what will be more in the future. But it's just it's levels to this.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Hey, Spenny, can I preface this? Can we do a poll real quick?
Sure.
Are you happy with where the Red Wings are as a franchise right now? Very simple.
Good question.
Are you happy with where the Red Wings are as a franchise right now? Very baseline, because I want to get a temperature for the room. I think it's going to be 60-40, 65-35, yes. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Handicap
right.
it, KG. What do you think it's going to be?
Around, actually, I think maybe 70-30.
70-30, yes? Okay. So we're in the same ballpark.
Yeah, most people would be happy with the season.
So, and I'm curious. And because I want to get to Drew K's point right here, who still seems a little bit angry, I guess. But that's okay. That's why we're talking about it. So Drew K says, we did not get our payout. What are you talking about, Neil? They lost a third spot in the division. We still want Lalonde fired. And then he goes on to say, all last night did was give us more proof this team is better than you give them credit for, Neil. Well, see, Drew K, I don't know where you're going with that. And I also said there will still be some of you out there, like you, Drew K. You are going to be one of those people. But there are far less of you now because a lot of the fans got their Instagram reels and all that stuff last night. They got them celebrating in the stands. They got that good feeling walking out of LCA. They got it. So again, I think there's going to be less vitriol than there would have been. Wow, 84% of the people say yes. Well, then, Drew K., what are we talking about here then, man? And this all plays into it, Drew K. They're a 500 team playing with other 500 teams for the right to get in the playoffs and probably lose in the first round, but maybe not. You can't win if you're not in. And do I want him to get in? Yeah, Drew K., obviously I want him to get in. But they've been better every step of the way under 19's leadership, dude. You can't deny it. I can give you the proof.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. So I don't know what you want from me, Drew K. I don't know what you want me to say. And so you're going to be one of those Sam Flannel type people that literally 1 point is going to shape your entire thought process on a franchise and an organization and where they are. If they get 2 points tonight and Washington gets 1, it's a success and they're a good team. If they get 1 point and Washington gets 2 when it's over, then they're a failure of an organization. That's stupid. That's a stupid take to have. 1 point dictates the way you feel about everything. That's dumb. Sorry, bro. You'll never convince me otherwise. Never. Your thoughts, D-Mac?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a big picture thing. There's levels of this. Like I said in the tweet, you're gonna get this emotional about making the playoffs. Do you know that the next step is being in the playoffs and winning the first round, and then getting to the conference finals? And you look at all these other teams, the great teams that we saw down the stretch, or look at Florida, for example. Look at the Rangers. Look at all these teams. Somebody's gonna come up short. So it's about putting the pieces in place. And from where you've come from to be in this position, how can you not accept it after, where you came from last year, and you still know you're a few pieces away, whether they're in the organization in Grand Rapids or not, right? Makes it that much bigger next year. But the fact is, at 1 point or this and that, yes, you can question how it happened, and don't you go back and go, okay, so this losing streak, later in the season and stuff, what was the cause of that? How do we mend that so it doesn't happen again? That's all you can do. But the fact that you're in this conversation in Bettman hockey is you haven't been. What was last year? You get 80 points. You're. I don't know. Progress to me, I guess, means different, and I see it. So. That's it. To me, that sounds like you're more linear. It's just it's the black and white.
Yeah, it's proof. There are still holes. Is there a goaltending issue on this team long term in relation to challenging for an Eastern Conference championship? Is there a goaltending issue?
Yes, goaltending issue. Couple D. Right, you still need that 1C, but you're closer.
100%.
You're closer,
and that's all you can ask for. And if we're gonna get in those weeds right now, you look at Lucas Raymond and where he is. Who drafted him? Who drafted Mo Sider? For the people that say, well, where are they? Where are they? This is the nature of how hockey works. Again, tell me you're a casual without telling me you're a casual. This isn't the NFL. The rookie doesn't step up This isn't Major League Baseball where Wyatt Langford's in the major leagues even. It doesn't work. There are like 2 dudes a decade that are drafted like that. Like, come on, guys. Let's have some common sense here, okay? Let's have some common sense. So when we come back, this is a relevant time, too, because we get our opportunity, our weekly discussion with Dr. Jeff Pierce, because the Red Wings, there's some medical things I want to ask here.
Oh.
You come off an emotional high like that, you got to fly, you play an NHL game, you deplete your reserves, you got to go on a plane and fly for an hour and a half. How are you going to get right for tonight?
Oh, I was more concerned that, the weather's nice and us weekend warriors or, us golfers are out there. My knee's a little
stiff?
I want to ask Doc if it's like lack of preparation or something. But we could ask your dumb hockey stuff.
Yeah, no,
if
we
you
certainly
want,
can.
but let me first tell you